We are live. Hello, guys. Welcome and thanks for being here in the Killer Clubhouse tonight. Killer Author Clubhouse. Sorry about that. We have Lisa Barr in the house and another great show for you guys in store tonight. So just hang out, sit here for 2 seconds, and we will be right back.
Thought you really loved me. Guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me. Guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hi. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you got your killer cocktail. You're ready to go because we've got Lisa Barr in the house. We will be doing all sorts of questions about her book, Woman on Fire. If you guys have read it, if you've not read it, drop your questions in the comments. We will be getting to them at some point soon. We also have all sorts of fun going on Facebook in our Killer Author Club, where we talk about killing and fictional, of course, all fictional. And then we also have the private Facebook group, Killer Author Clubhouse, and we have big plans for that group coming up later this year. We're thinking about book clubs, and we have our first author. She said yes, so we are excited to announce that. We're going to have some members-only swag, and tonight our very first giveaway for members of the Clubhouse. So you do have to join. You have to answer some questions for that. We'll be dropping the link in the comments. So check us out and stay tuned for our first 2 winners. We also have a YouTube channel if you'd like to subscribe there. I heard from someone that they put it on their big screen TV, so you can watch us on YouTube on your big TV.
Really terrifying.
There. So for links to all these things, watch the comments, and you can also find all the links on killerauthorclub.com. So now, without further ado, Kara, would you please introduce our killer guest?
Oh, it would be my pleasure. Lisa Barr is a New York Times best-selling author. Isn't that great, Lisa? Okay, Woman on Fire. So cool. The Unbreakables and the historical thriller Fugitive Colors, a suspenseful tale of stolen art, love, lust, deception, and revenge on the eve of World War II. The novel won the Ippy Gold Medal for Best Literary Fiction 2014 and first prize at the Hollywood Film Festival. In addition, Lisa served as an editor for the Jerusalem Post, managing editor of Today's Chicago Woman, managing editor of Moment Magazine, and as an editor reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times. She's pretty much badass. Among the highlights of her career, Lisa covered the famous handshake between the late Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, is that right? The late PLO leader Yasser Arafat and President Bill Clinton at the White House. That's
what?
Lisa has been featured on Good Morning America and Today for her work as an author, journalist, and blogger. In breaking book news, actress Sharon Stone is set to produce and star in the film adaptation of Woman on Fire. Yay! And Sharon Stone shared our reel promoting Lisa's episode today on her story, you guys, which we were like, wow, that's like so cool. Hollywood Sparkle. We love that. Anyway, so Lisa, it's fabulous to have you with us tonight, and everybody's super excited. So could you give us the elevator pitch for Women on Fire?
Yes. First of all, you did great. So thank you for having me here. Thanks. Both of you guys are great. You know, not only do I love you as people, but I love your work. And so I really just appreciate you having me here. So Woman on Fire, there's one behind me, got one here. It's about a 24-year-old savvy young journalist who gets involved in a major international art scandal centered around a Nazi looted painting. And she has to decide if chasing and going after this painting is worth her life and those of, the people that she loves. So there's a lot of high risk going on in this book.
Oh yeah, and that's why everybody I think,
Fabulous.
is so captivated by it, and it has so many layers and elements, and it sounds like okay. We'll talk more about the book in a minute, but for now, everyone settle in for the killer cocktail of this episode. Kimberly, what is the killer cocktail?
Okay, let's see if I can find the graphic. The Woman on Fire. This looks amazing. I know I would love it. Lisa, tell me, why did you choose this cocktail for tonight?
so-
And are you drinking it?
Okay, so I'm drinking. All right, so I brought my bourbon because I actually did a murder scene today, and so murder
Deserves bourbon.
was bourbon, so it was bourbon. So I kind of made a fake one here because that one has a lot of. I don't know if you could see it. Am I? Yes.
Yeah.
there we go. So this one, when I had my book launch on March 1st, I had a big shebang, a big cocktail party. So we had this mixologist come and he said, "What do you want me to make?" I said, "You know what? Have at it. Make me a woman on fire." So it was like the mad scientist, and everything was, put in there. He wanted to know about my book. He wanted to feel it, all those different things that he put in to make this unbelievable drink. So that's the drink. That's the Woman on Fire. And it's really yummy and really good.
Yeah. We'll be updating our website with the cocktail recipe. So guys, if you sit tight, it'll take me a minute, but it'll be up there by tomorrow at the very latest, I promise.
Yeah. So it's a real mixologist drink. So you guys should all like it.
Yeah. So you'll need a recipe. At least if you're anything like me, you'll need a recipe.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Thank you, Lisa. All right. So what do you think, Kimberly? Is it time for the killer question?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Woman on Fire has a little bit of everything. It has adventure, romance, history, art, scandal, betrayal. It's a story that dives deep into the cruelties of war, corruption in the international art world, and all the ways the powerful elite will do anything to get what they want. So the question for you, Lisa Barr, is when do you kill?
That is a great question. So I kill when the character, one, when the character deserves it, or two, when another character needs to rise and that character has to get out of the way. So kind of a funny story. My aunt called me up with Woman on Fire, and I killed a character that I love and that everybody loves. Okay. And it was early on, and she literally called me and said, "I'm not talking to you. No, swear to God, I cannot believe you killed X. That was one of my favorite characters. Why did you do that?" So I had to explain that X had to go so that my main character, Jules Roth, the young journalist, could rise and become sort of the central figure to pit her against my very unscrupulous art dealer, woman versus woman, that is taking place in the story. So it's a showdown. And Jules needed to rise and he needed to go. But that was a hard kill. The best kind of kill is the kind of kill that happened today. So I was murdering. This is as you know, there's no best.
Fictional. Don't call the cops. Don't dial 911.
Fictional. Don't call the cops. So this was a bad actor in my new manuscript. So I spent all day it's a bad kill, up close, just bullet to the brain, blood splattering, the whole thing in a car. So right after I murdered this character, like sweat's dripping down me, I'm just feeling it. It's all coming out. So I get a call and my husband's like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" And so
You're
I'm
like,
Bourbon.
just literally murdered someone, and it was a hard kill. And he said, "So you're thinking Thai sushi?" This is our life, right? It's crazy. I'm like, you know what? I really was so happy to kill this guy. We're going sushi. So
We're going
that
That's hilarious.
was
We're celebrating tonight.
celebratory sushi.
this is literally what happened like 3 hours ago, our conversation. So that's when I kill. But some, as you know, some kills, the good guys or women or, whoever get killed in the process. Those are hard kills.
Yeah.
I find.
So do you know going in who you're going to be killing off? Like, are you a plotter or do you come and figure these things out as you're writing?
So I'm a hybrid. So if you look at my Instagram, you'll see I have my dining room table with the leaves pulled out, my kitchen table, seating 14, and I cover it. Every inch of 2 major tables with note cards, sticky notes, everything all over. And then I let it go and then I sit down and write. And it's like in my brain. So I do know some of the people that are not going to live. But a lot of times, as you know, you get into the characters and I don't know if you can swear here. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah,
like shit happens. Shit happens. So, I'm in my character and someone who I, hadn't anticipated getting rid of, they're in my way.
Yeah.
And that happens, or in the character's way. So I it's really, especially with history, like, it's not just a straight suspense book. There's a lot of history in my book. So it has to have some chronological order of things happening and it to be on point. So, I do know, and then I don't know. So I'm a mix.
Do you go back to are you going back to the table and looking at your kind of outline or not really?
Not so much. I sort of know where it's going. And I'm one of those authors that I don't write ugly from the get-go. Like I have to finish each chapter and it has to be good and pretty before I can move on. So and so that's how I move. So by the time I finished my first draft, it's in really good shape.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm the same way.
Yeah. I might spend literally maybe a week on, or less than that, but something around there on a chapter with all the things around it to get it right. I know so many of our writer friends, that's not how they operate.
No, Kara bangs out a book in like 2 days or something. I don't know. but she says it's a mess, but I'm like you. I have to I don't do it chapter by chapter, but I'll write like 3 or 4 chapters really fast and then I'll fiddle. And just it feels like I'm spinning my wheels sometimes, but I have to do that before I can move forward. Otherwise I get not tired of the story, but just I'm like, oh, this is no good. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's
weird.
So we have a question from the audience here.
Yes.
Have you always dreamed of being an author?
In my first grade essay,
no,
swear to God, it said, what do you want to do when you grow up? And it said, I want to write books. And, I've had some interesting experiences. I've been a journalist and an investigative journalist for close to 30 years. So I was a journalist by day and I work on my fiction at night. And so this book, what's so kind of fun about Woman on Fire is the main character, Jules Roth, is the most me of any character I've ever written. But the young me, the me before I became old and jaded and crusty as a journalist, it's the me when I was like, to any story, yes, I'll take that assignment. Yes, I had no sense, as a 20-year-old, what the ramifications, consequences. It was like, get at the truth. I just want to get at the truth. I'm in. So that was when I wrote this book during COVID and I wanted to go back to a time and a place that I loved, kind of before kids, before life got in the way. And so, I was kind of always knew I wanted to be a writer, but books from the time I was, young, and then a journalist. Once I hit 17, I had something that happened, which actually impacts the book. We could talk about it, but, and that was the moment I knew I was going to become a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, another question really quick, unless you want to talk about what we were just talking about.
Well, Sure, sure. So in the book, I gave my own backstory to Jules. And when I was 17, I was on an internship program. It was my second semester of high school for 6 months in my state capital. I interned for a state senator. So while I was there, I was approached by a special law enforcement unit, and they asked me if I'd be willing to be used as bait to help break a sex trafficking ring.
What? Stop.
Yeah. So of course I said, yes, I'm in. And at that time, in those days, you didn't need any parental, to write off and everything. I was like, sure, where do I sign? And I didn't tell my parents for at least 10 years later. So I was used as bait, and this is before phones or anything. This is in real time, okay? Used as bait to help arrest the sex trafficking ring, and we did, and people were arrested. So I gave this backstory to Jules in Woman on Fire, and so but for me, getting back to your the original question. I knew in that moment, I mean, imagine 17 years old, you're breaking this major story. And I knew I was going to be a journalist. I was going to go after the truth. I knew it. It was that was my aha moment, so to speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that
Everybody's
story.
wow. We're all like, wow. We were going to ask you about the cover, but we're just like, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Back to the question I was going to ask you from an audience person was that, did you have a say in the cover? Because it's such a fabulous cover.
Yes. I had a say on the cover.
Did?
Oh yeah. I have that in my contract.
Stop. Really?
I have some, because that just more like I'm being consulted. I mean, obviously the art team, the sales team, they all make the call, but this wasn't the original cover.
Really?
So it was something else. And so, but what, who knows who's listening. So I'm just going to say that this was not the original cover, but I said, you know what? I need someone on the cover that is sort of young and happening. So if you look, this all of a sudden this came in, and I was like, give me a Meghan Markle bun on this. So she's got the Meghan Markle bun. And then, a lot of times, who are we influenced by? For me, it was 100% Nancy Drew. Okay. Nancy Drew I had every single one of them. And so if you look at it, I kind of brought it out for show and tell if you want it. It's vintage copies of Nancy Drew. All right.
That's so awesome.
So this, am I in the picture? I can't even.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at it, this gives me serious Nancy Drew vibes. And so I was literally hyperventilating when I got this cover. I was I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is my cover, but 3 things had to happen on this cover, which I think they were going for. They needed the young journalist. They wanted the history. And then I had to have the painting. I needed something with the painting. So we kind of, through several covers, we got it. And so I was pretty jazzed about this cover as it came to be.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is really awesome. I don't know anybody else who has their cover consultation in their contract. Do you, Kara? I've not heard that from anybody.
I know my agent was about the favorite daughter cover. She's like, First
really?
She kind of killed it. And I think, a good agent will also step in, even if it's
if you hate it. Yeah. If you hate it, you can definitely make a fuss, but I've never heard of anybody who's they have to be, consulted and have actual pull.
Well, I do have a good agent, and I have a good team that I think appreciates input and that. So I felt, I feel like that was, part of, that was something very important to me.
Yeah.
Sure that I had some voice in the cover, because it really is don't judge a book by its cover, please.
Oh yeah. We all do it, right?
Please. Who doesn't? So, for me, that was very important. And, you want to love it. You want to, and so that was a good thing.
Yeah.
I feel good about the cover for sure.
Yeah, you really should. The whole package goes so well together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
let's see.
amazing.
Do we have time for another question, Kimberly?
Yeah. Let's do one more.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, well, this person's saying, I truly had no idea that the writer doesn't get that much say in the cover. I mean, we really don't. Usually it's like, here you go. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It's like I get an email. Here's your cover. Hope you love it.
Yeah.
That's basically how my covers go.
But you have great covers, so you're pretty.
I do. I've never had to push back on any of them.
Yeah, you have great covers.
Okay. Oh, here's a great question. So, did you come up with the title of the book?
I did. So I'm sort of
She does it all. Ladies and gentlemen.
three out of 3 titles for my 3 books. They were my titles. So I'm happy about that. I know sometimes there's changes, and really, kudos to the team. They do know what sells, and you sort of have to leave it to them. But when you write, I find, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but when I have this working title, I'm kind of going with it in my head as I'm writing. I don't know if you have it in the back of your head. I feel like, Kimberly, I don't know where it was, somewhere along the line, maybe you didn't have a title for a book and it was called something.
I usually turn them in as book number 6.
Exactly.
Number 7.
Exactly. I don't know where I remembered that from, but I remember some sort of discussion with you in the past.
Yeah, and I always have a title too, and not all of mine have stuck, but like Best Day Ever was kind of the title. And it's great. And Somebody's Home, same thing. It was like, stuck, and I think it was the second wife, but it became the next one. So, but it is like I have to write with that kind of idea.
Yeah, and I do love when I read a book like Woman on Fire, where it's like the title is so very much part of the story, and so very much. It really resonates as you're reading. I love when that happens.
Yeah, thank you. I know. For me, I was, getting to your point, I was nervous. What if they change this title? This is the name of the painting. This is the crux of the story.
Yeah, right.
I was really hoping it was going to stick. Yeah.
Yes, that's the landing. There you go. And I'm supposed to ask you about reading to your dog. That's the last question.
Usually she's right here, but my husband's home, so she's all about him right now. So yes, I read the book twice to my dog in full, every page, every word of the book. So it's right before I turn it in on the first time, and I do it because it's very different when you write something, very different when you print it out in hard copy. But when you hear it, it's a whole new book. So I do that so that I could know, for example, that the word joyous is on page 22 and it's also on page 52. And I change. I want to hear if the description goes on so long that I'm like, oh my God, I'm bored, and so, you're thinking, and so my dog is like this the whole time, just so happy, loves it all, but I get to hear it. And then I do it a second time after all the edits at the end of the process, the final read. Me and Izzy, we're a team, and I read it out loud and then I send it in. So it's kind of my good luck charm and my quirky habit, I would say.
I love that. And I'm sure your dog loves it too. That's the cutest thing ever.
That's really nice.
So speaking of Woman on Fire, we have 2 copies up for grabs tonight. So all you have to do, let me see where it is. Boom.
There we go.
Yay! 2 copies up for grabs. All you have to do is answer this question about our killer guest, and we will pick from the correct answer. We'll be coming in tomorrow around this time to choose 2 winners. Bonus points if you join the club or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And the question is, which actress has optioned Woman on Fire for film? Whoop, whoop, whoop. And it's going to star in it too.
We love Hollywood Sparkle, and everyone don't cheat on each other's answers. Make sure you listened and knew it. Okay. All right. And our next segment is our killer bookseller of the week. So
Okay, let's see
here's
where
your
these
So
Heather
Killer
usually
Author-
does these things.
I know.
Okay,
It's
here
all
we
right.
go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. The Book Stall. The Killer Author Club loves bookstores, of course, and appreciate your support of them. So Kimberly is partnered with the iconic Book Stall in Winnetka, Illinois. So Lisa, tell us what's so special about the Book Stall.
They have been a huge champion of all my work. And not only that, they make house calls. They come to my events. I mean, there's some really great indies that I love, and I just have a wonderful relationship with them. They just came to and did my book launch. They have been to, I would say, at least 14 or so of my like events that are not at the book stall. I've also done events, you know, at the bookstall live with other authors where I'm in conversation with them. So it's just this really great, beautiful bookstore that, you know, carries all the best books, and the people are fabulous. So yeah, let's hear it for the
I
bookstall.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And
We'll did you put the link
I
already?
just dropped it in the comments.
Yeah,
So
so you can
the link to
order a
Lisa's
copy.
book.
If you don't win tonight, then go buy your own copy from the book stall. That would be great. Oh, and we also have another special announcement right now. Our swag giveaway winners. Okay, so membership has its privileges. Every episode will be choosing a name from the Killer Author Club Clubhouse to win a piece of Killer Author Club swag, t-shirts, mugs, phone cases, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. I feel like I'm in an infomercial. Okay, tonight we have not one, but two winners, two lucky Clubhouse members who will be going home with Killer Author Club notebook. I was supposed to have that to hold up. I do. Okay, hold on. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, the winners are Lisa Griffith and the members who invited her to the group, Anissa Joy Armstrong. So congratulations, ladies. And please send one of the killers your address and we'll send the goods your way. And remember, if you're not already a member, you can join the Killer Author Clubhouse because membership has its privileges. There you go.
I love it.
So Kimberly, I think we have something for Lisa too. Now.
We do have something for Lisa. So Lisa, you have officially survived the Killer Author Club.
God.
So we will be sending this to you. You can print it out. You can wear it on your forehead. You can
on
put it
there.
on your wall.
Yes.
Yes.
Put it right behind you on your bookshelf. You can take it anywhere.
Guys,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have.
I love
yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being here, Lisa.
Yeah, we do. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And we have a couple of, this is a new thing that we're doing for authors because there's so many fantastic books and fantastic authors. And we do this, you know, as you know, every other week. We just can't fit everyone in. We are booked through, I mean, almost through summer next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do want to start out with some killer book shout outs, I guess. Let's see.
So yeah, we're calling it Killer Author Club Celebrates, and it's for books and authors that we can't have a full episode with. So let's start celebration.
So we have The Missing by Lisa Childs. It is a story. It's been over 40 years since the psychiatric hospital on Bain Island shut down, and the mystery of women vanishing there remains unsolved. And we also have First Victim by Debbie Babbitt. The Honorable Alice D. McCarty is no stranger to violence, but there's something about this trial. A defendant charged with the murder of a pregnant woman that affects her, maybe because she's harboring a devastating secret.
Maybe.
So check out those two books. I'll find the links for both of them and drop them in the comments as well.
Yay. All right. And it's about time to wrap up, you guys, but I have to do a teaser for our next guest first. So our next guest author practiced law for nearly 20 years before leaving to write full-time. She's the author of numerous bestsellers. Her works have been translated into multiple languages, and 3 of her books have been optioned for development into television series, Hollywood Sparkle. Okay. Who could be? Join the Killer Author Club in 2 weeks, and we will let you know. But also, if you join any of our Facebook groups, you might get some sneak hints about it all the way. Yeah, and then also go shopping at killerauthorclub.com infomercial. Okay, anyway, Lisa, thank you so much for being with us. We really enjoyed having you. Like, everybody really had a blast. Yeah. So we will see you guys all in 2 weeks. Thanks for being here. And until then, our sign off.
I guess I'm